I'm one of the public information officers for Troop A headquarters, and I just want to start off by saying, the loss of life is tragic and painful for everyone involved, specifically for Mr. Johnson's family. We also had an officer that was shot and injured, and we pray that he is recovering fully. But we also send our sincere condolences to Mr. Johnson's family. With that, I do feel that our integrity for this investigation has been called into question, and I felt it necessary, we felt it necessary to comment on that. There are certain things that we can divulge, certain things we cannot divulge. It's the nature of the job, it's a frustrating part of the job, but suffice it to say, anything we can relay to the public, we do. And specifically to Mr. Edwards, indicating that he was denied anything from the Highway Patrol, that is categorically incorrect. He did speak with one of our investigators, and during the course of that conversation, our investigator asked him specifically if he had any video or any witness to the events that occurred. Mr. Edwards said yes. The investigator told him we want the opportunity to see that evidence. He was additionally provided the resource of another investigator to meet with him to review any of that evidence that he may have. Mr. Edwards said he would call our investigator back. We have still yet to receive that phone call. If anyone has any evidence regarding this incident, we will always listen to you. We will always look at that evidence. During the course of this investigation, we have seized video. We have spoken to witnesses. We have done our due diligence and done it in a very integral way. The only way we can do our job is do it impartially. And by doing that, we can only relay certain information to the public. But I want to ensure the public that any investigation that we conduct will be done in a thorough manner with integrity to the investigation. No matter if that's an officer-involved shooting or another investigation we're a part of. We have done that for 90 years, and we have gained the public trust that we will do that, and we will continue to do that. So as long as we're an organization. So we realize gun violence is a problem here in our communities. Gun violence is a problem throughout the state, throughout the country. And we want to ensure that the communities that we are here to keep them safe and to fully ensure that our investigations that we conduct are done thoroughly and with integrity. And when that investigation is complete, it will be sent over to the Jackson County Prosecuting Attorney's Office for their review. Now, one of the things Mr. Edwards indicated was that the investigation was complete. That is not accurate. That investigation is not complete. And knowing that there is some evidence or video evidence out there that we are unaware of, it will remain open until Mr. Edwards decides to give us that evidence. So once that is determined and we complete our investigation, it gets reviewed in Jefferson City and then sent on to the Jackson County Prosecuting Attorney's Office. This is not a speedy process. I would not want it to be a speedy process if I were the victim of any crime. You want it to be thorough and done with compassion and done with integrity. So with that, I will say we are being as transparent as we possibly can be, and we will always be transparent as we possibly can be in any situation that we're involved in. So with that, I will say I will answer a few questions, but I will say it's still an open investigation and I can't necessarily answer everything you have.
In your surveillance video from Edwards, do you anticipate that you guys have the same surveillance? Did you get all the surveillance in the area?
I have no idea. I have no idea what evidence he has. He has not given it to our investigators, so that there's no idea of what he has specifically. We would love to know. but we don't know.
Where's your surveillance coming from?
We have surveillance video from the store as well as other video evidence.
So more than one angle from the store? Because what we're seeing is only the one angle.
Right. That I'm not sure. Again, as part of the process of the investigation, if they've captured other parts of that, then I'm sure it will be seized and presented to the prosecutor.
Something that was said today contradicted something we previously reported.
Okay.
We reported from you guys that the suspect had a gun, and they're saying today there was no gun. Can you shed any light or clarify that?
We stand firm in our initial statement that the suspect had a handgun. Yes.
Can you speak to how quickly this incident escalated? On this video that you may have, surveillance video from the store, you see the officers walk in, guns drawn, to and within minutes, he's on the floor, and within a few minutes later, he's dead. So can you speak to the escalation? And
Again, I don't know what video. I haven't seen any video indicating anything of this incident. Again, as part of the investigation, it is their ability to look at that video, talk to any witnesses, and ascertain what happened. I don't know as far as any relative speed as to how things escalated. I do know that they knew who they were looking for. They had been surveilling him. There was no question as to who he was when he went in the store. They knew there was a possibility he was armed. He'd already committed violent felonies before, so there was an extreme likelihood that he was armed. So that would, as far as anything else, that would just be subjective.
I just want to be clear, Pastor Edwards and any other pastors, they haven't provided any other video from surveillance from the PD.
We have not received any evidence from anybody other than what our investigators seized at the scene. They seized at the scene, and then if they contacted a witness, they got it from the witness. We did not receive anything, and I repeat, anything from Mr. Edwards or anyone else that was at the press conference.
so the Pastor Edwards and the rest of the group getting to the heart of the matter, they said that they tried to meet with you all, but they were dismissed.
That's not accurate. I gave you the accurate interpretation of what happened. We were contacted by him. Our investigator spoke to him and indicated he was willing to send an investigator to meet with him to review any of the evidence they had. We want the evidence that they have, if they have evidence. That goes to the transparency and keeps the investigation, the integrity of the investigation intact. If we have evidence that's out there, then it doesn't help. We want that. So to say that is otherwise is inaccurate.
So we don't know if the video that they're providing you already have, essentially.
I don't know.
What is the latest? I mean, have you tried to meet with him again now that you're holding this press conference? I think that they wanted to bring some attention to the matter, so here it is. So,
Well, I think we made it clear with him initially is that we want the evidence that he supposedly is in possession of. We want that. We want to be transparent with what we're doing to the prosecuting attorney. Now, we can't specifically say everything we're doing, like I said, to the public. We don't try cases to the public. We provide them to the prosecutor so they view that through those impartial lenses that we are supposed to be viewing this investigation or doing this investigation with. So, anything that they have, we're willing to speak with them about. That was an open invitation when we talked to them. It's an open invitation now until we see what evidence they have.
what is the timeline on completing the investigation?
Well, at this point, right now, it's classified as an open investigation. Knowing that there is evidence out there that we would want to see, we would hope he would want to provide that to us in a timely manner so we can complete it, and then be able to send it to Jefferson City for their review, and then formulate what we call in a booklet of a timeline for the prosecuting attorney. Ultimately, that's what our goal is, to provide an accurate, factual depiction of what happened to the prosecuting attorney.
Sorry if you've already said this, but was the case closed prior to this new piece of video that's
It was
out there?
not. It was still an open investigation.
What do you hope to get from this new piece of surveillance? Just a different perspective on it, or?
I don't know. I don't know what he has to say a different perspective. If it's evidence for the case, then we just want to see it. We want to be able to have that to send with the packet. You know, in anything, we want any kind of evidence. That's why we come to you asking all the time for people with any information involving incidents. Please contact us. We want that. We want to be able to provide that information.
Can you clarify a little bit more about how the officer was shot? Well, because it appears from the surveillance that we saw today that Mr. Johnson is being restrained during the course of this. We don't know when shots were fired, but can you maybe walk us through a little bit more clearly?
Again, I don't know the circumstances surrounding that. I just know that he was shot in the leg during the incident. The investigators know that, and that again is all part of the investigation for the prosecuting attorney to determine.
So at the scene, you stated that you believe that the shooting was justified. After review of the evidence that you've gotten, do you still believe that it was justified?
I don't know. It's not up to our interpretation to say if anything is justified. It's up to our interpretation to disseminate the facts as how they occurred. The ultimate goal is to send those facts over to the prosecuting attorney for their determination. That is not our determination. Ours is to present the facts as they occur.
So you don't determine if it was a good shoot or a bad shoot?
That is not our role in this. Our role is to investigate the incident, determine those facts, and give it to the prosecuting attorney.
I don't know if you can address this, but earlier today they said all of the shots that were fired came from one weapon. And so it must have been the officer shooting himself or a bullet ricochet from somewhere. Can you address if more than one weapon was fired?
I do not know that. I mean, as far as there was a weapon located with the suspect as well as the officer's weapons that they had, you know, I don't know what, I can't answer that.
So you mentioned that there was surveillance video from the store. Is there any body camera video or any witness video outside of what you know that Edwards might have?
Everything that we've been given has been submitted and documented as evidence. You know, whether it's video, whether it's dash cam video, the body cameras, they didn't have body cameras, so there was no body camera footage. But anything that we have as evidence, we have documented and placed into evidence.
And you said earlier that you don't know the timeline on this investigation, but can you speak more generally on the timeline for completing an officer-involved shooting investigation?
Well, in general, when you're talking investigations like this, whether you know you're dealing with multiple locations or one location, it all depends upon the circumstances surrounding the event. If we are at 3 different locations and evidence was seized there, that becomes more cumbersome. If there's multiple witnesses, more than 1, more than 2, more than 3, it gets more cumbersome. You know, you can't really give a timeline. I wish I could, but there just isn't a timeline to say this is when things are going to be done and wrapped up. Now, at any point in time, somebody that is directly involved in the investigation can ask, when do you think it will be completed? And you know, we give them the best case scenario, but that's not always the case. It just, every investigation goes through the process differently.
Will any of the video, like body cams or any of the other surveillance cams from Officer Starr be released prior to the end of this investigation?
We will not be releasing anything, and it's our contention. We have never released anything. It violates several statutes for releasing that type of information for during an investigation. So we're not going to do that. We're not going to again impugn perjure anything or impugn any investigation. But I appreciate your time. Appreciate you coming here. And like I said, if anybody has any information, feel free to contact us. Thanks.
Thank you, sir.